Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A God.
You gonna learn today.
I just told you. That's who I think
You
I
gonna
am.
learn today.
Everybody pray for me. It been that day for me. Yeah, be humble. Be humble. Be humble.
Hey, what up, what up, what up? This is the Be Humble Podcast, episode number 3. I'm your host, Brandon Hosey. And, tonight we're going to be talking about the very touchy subject of religion. We're going to talk about my views, what I think about a couple subjects. And, of course, I'm going to tell you a little story or two about my experiences. Can I get an amen? So growing up for me, I didn't necessarily grow up in the church, so to speak. I did go to church every now and then when I would be with my aunt or my grandma. But I didn't really grow up in the church like that. I know that some people, when they were younger, they went to church faithfully. And, for my family, that just wasn't in reality. I got 7 other brothers and sisters. I come from a household of 11 people. So I know that's not a good excuse, but it's an excuse. I mean, we just didn't do much as a family. And to be honest, I don't think that religion was that important to my parents, or I think it was for my dad. My dad is more religious than my stepmom. But I think because of that, that's the main reason we didn't, go to church. We did have a moment where we did, or they tried it out and it didn't work, which I'll talk about that in a second. But that brings up an important point, because if you're in a relationship, if you have 2 different religious views, how do you make that work? Or if you one person goes to church and one person just more spiritual, how do you make it work? I mean, how do you compromise? Do you just go to go with the other person, or do you stay home? What type of conflicts do that bring? I don't know, so that's why I'm kind of asking. And, hopefully I'll find out, and hopefully that's not a problem with me and my relationships in the future. But like I said, growing up, I wasn't that exposed to, religion and church, but I was. I grew up as a Baptist Christian. Like I said, going to church with my grandma and aunts, and what that time gave me, it gave me morals. Going to church, it gave me morals. It taught me not to, basically the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, and so forth, and I think that made me the person I am now. Church gave me a lot of morals, and it taught me, right for wrong. It taught me that there is consequences, whether there is a hell or a heaven, that's debatable. Who knows? I mean, who really knows? Because once you die, who knows? Who knows what happens? But that's what church did for me. It made me the person that I am today. And to be honest, I don't go to church. I've thought about it, off and on for years. I always tell myself I should go, but it's do I really have a reason to go? I'm already a very positive person. I'm a very humble person. I'm very self-motivated. I got a lot of that from church, and I know that's what church gives. Church, from my perspective, it gives hope. It teaches you about having faith and, all of those good things that I feel that's already built into me as a person. That I already got that. So it's why go back and get more? Which, I mean, I'll go again. Actually, the person I'm talking to now, she goes, and, I'll probably go with her a few times, but I can't see myself going every Sunday, but that's just me. And actually, I'm going to tell you guys about one of my stories that I do remember about going to church as a family. Like I said, my family, my dad and my stepmom, they tried it. And I don't know, it was just funny. So pretty much, when staying at one of our apartments, my parents met, another couple that went to church. So I think that they were the ones that really gave them the idea or motivated them to take us. And eventually they started taking us. And to be honest, me and my siblings, we just hated it. As a kid, it was just so boring. Then they tried to put us in the choir, which was a disaster. None of us can sing, so it's come on, bro. it just didn't work out the way that they wanted it to work out. It didn't work out for us, and eventually we just stopped going and we kind of moved on. I don't really know my parents, view on church and religion to a certain extent. I know that they both believe in God, and I know that my dad goes to church now faithfully. My stepmom was kind of religious, kind of not. I don't think she goes, but I could be wrong. Anyways, that's my experience as a kid. As I said, not much experience, but I got a lot from it, and it really made me the person that I am today. I think that religion is one of those things that people just don't talk about enough, which is why I don't really know like my parents' views, in a deeper sense. Like I remember like being at work one time and we started talking about it. Of course, religion, it's one of those things that they say you just don't talk about at work because so many people have different opinions and strong opinions about it. But it was an atmosphere where it was three guys and we were all comfortable with each other and we would pretty much talk about anything. Then one of the guys he admitted to us that he don't believe in God. And I remember being like so like taken back by that. I don't know why I was so judgmental. I mean, I didn't even go to church. I don't go to church. So I'm like, okay, how can I really judge him? But at that moment, like, I remember telling him, like, where do you get your morals from? Like, how do you decide, what's right and wrong? I mean, like, what's stopping you from being a serial killer if you don't believe in God? Because if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in heaven or hell or anything. It's like, where's the consequences? Where are the morals that I was taught? That's all the things that I was thinking and some of what I told him. But, the more I think about it, man, I believe that people are free to believe what they want to believe, and what they don't want to believe, it's on an individual basis, because at the end of the day, like, nobody knows what happens when you die. Nobody knows how we got here, heaven or hell, or if we're just organisms that just happen to grow and develop. Like, who knows? I mean, we're getting closer to that with science and everything, but still we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge universe and it really can't be explained. So that brings me to my second or maybe third now topic in regards to religion. It's like, is there too many religions? Because there's a lot. Even if you break down, I mean, there's like categories, there's Catholic, Christian, Muslim, and so many other, Jehovah's Witness. It's like, and they all have different beliefs. And even among those different categories, there's subcategories. There's different types of Christians. It's like, in my opinion, it's getting to a point where it's like too much. And I know it's always been like that, but that raises the question. It's like, who's right, who's wrong? As far as I know, being a Christian, like, most Christians believe that well, I haven't read the Bible. I've only read, different excerpts of the Bible, but I've heard that, and I have to do my research, that in the Bible, it teaches you to respect and accept all religions. More so respect all religions and all religious beliefs. But I know that not everybody believes that, and that goes for Christians, Muslims, and that's actually the cause of a lot of wars and conflicts in the world right now, just religion. And me personally, I think it's just out of hand. It's just too much. Like, nobody really knows, so why even take it that serious? I understand it's important to be religious and be grounded in what you believe and, have faith and everything, as long as it's positive. But I believe that it's out of hand, and it's been out of hand. So that's why me as a person, I'm more spiritual. And I know y'all hear people say that all the time, but it's a lot of people that's like me that just believe that you can just be a good person, have good morals, do good things, help out people when they can, and just be the best version of you and do good things, and you good. Like, you don't have nothing to worry about. That's how I think it should be. But unfortunately, it's not like that in the view views in the heads of a lot of people that are deep into religion and take it serious. It's like you gotta live by the book, or you're not getting into heaven, or you're going to hell, or all these things, and that really deters me. I remember we're gonna talk about one of my relationship experiences with a Christian woman that I had just met. So I met this woman at work. It's a new job or whatever. She was very attractive. She was cool. Everything that I like, typical my type of woman. And we hit it off, and she told me that she was Christian, and she told me how serious she was about it, and I was actually very impressed. That's one of the things that really made me like her a lot. Her how deep and dedicated she was to religion and how passionate she was. But along with that came a lot of judgmentalness, if that's a word. It's probably not, but she's very judgmental, and she really wanted to change me, which was very surprising. I remember when she found out that I made music videos and she just wasn't having it. She told me that like I would have to let that go if I wanted to be with her. And the thing is, it's like if you really support your man, and you got somebody that you really want to be successful with and grow with and everything, you would support them. And like, why not like try to convince me to only shoot gospel music videos or only work with Christian artists instead of telling me like, no, you can't do it at all. I was very taken back by that. It's like, that's not the type of woman I want to be. I understand like you love religion, that's your thing and everything, but you gotta respect me and my views and what I do too. I mean, you can't change. I remember she invited me to a church function one time. I might sway a little bit towards your way and how you feel. I felt very uncomfortable when I was there. And this is coming from a person that grew up as a Christian. Like, I know what they're talking about, I thought I could relate. I thought I was doing all the right things, but I told them my views and how I believe you can just be a good person and do good things, and that's good enough, to make it into heaven, do the things that Jesus would do. But for them, it just seemed like that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? You have to really, really be like Jesus and do everything to the book. You have to stay consistent. You have to teach and preach and all of that in order to make it to heaven. And for me, like that, I was taken back by that. I felt like, whoa, y'all doing too much. Like, you can't tell me that as a good person doing good things that I'm not going to make it to heaven. And pretty much what I took from that get together or gathering, and just from what I got from another person that was very, very religious, is that when it comes to being a Christian, if you don't commit yourself to believing in Jesus, then you're not a Christian. You're not getting into heaven, no matter what you do. So you can be the best person in the world and do the best things, but if you don't believe in Jesus, then you're not getting in. And on the flip side, which really, 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 deterred me and turned me off, is that I had somebody that tell me that, like, okay, they can be a serial killer, kill a lot of people, say they killed like 6 people, stay in jail for 20 years, then change their life around, start reading the Bible and everything, and pretty much submit themselves to Jesus, to believing in Jesus, and that person will get into heaven, but I won't, and that really, really turned me off to religion, and especially like being a Christian. But who knows, I still got my beliefs. I'm still a positive person, and if being a good person doesn't get me into heaven, then it's not a place that I want to be. Point blank, period. That's how it goes. But anyways, that's my experience. That's my thoughts on religion, and mainly Christian. That's the main religion that I can really speak on. I can't really speak on others. I just know that there's a lot of them, and really, I don't know. I don't think that anybody's wrong or right. It's like we just don't know. Who knows what happens when you die? I know I believe in God. I believe in being the best person that you can be. I believe in morals and standards and just being a good person, and for me, that's good enough. Anyways, this is episode 3 of the Be Humble podcast, religion. For the next episode, we're gonna be talking about exes. Is it ever a good idea to be friends with your ex? Whether you're in a relationship or out of a relationship, is it a good idea? Who knows? I'm gonna tell you my opinion. But until then, live life, love life, and be humble.